Hey everyone, how you doing? And today I'm joined by Tom Talk Rugby, and we're going to talk about AEW Double or Nothing 2022. So how you doing today, Tom?
I'm all right, mate. Shall we just get the elephant out of the room, out of the way, and just say we did predictions, but they won't see the light of day, unfortunately.
I mean, we you obviously just did, but I wasn't really going to mention that because there was no point to mention it.
Oops, my bad.
But okay.
Sorry.
No worries, no problem. So what did you think about the card overall?
As we were just talking about off camera, this is probably one of the weaker shows they've done since being back in front of live audience. I'll say that. Like, take out the pandemic shows because I feel like you have to grade those on a curve, correct?
Yeah, definitely.
But I think for me personally, and you can disagree or agree, my friend, AEW pay-per-views have become what NXT pay-per-views used to be, in the sense that they, like, even a bad show, you have some really great matches and some great storylines. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I've got the card up just so I can remember the order in my mind.
Yeah, that'd be all right, mate, because I have no phone because my phone and that's all died. So you'll have to tell me the card, yeah?
Yeah. Feel a bit of it, feel some dead air.
Yeah. So as I say, mate, I personally, AEW cards for me have become the sort of like it. You know what you're gonna get. You know you're gonna get some good wrestling. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I'm sure we'll talk about my favorite match of the night. But some highlights for me was definitely the Warlow stuff. The main event was fun. The Serena Deeb, I nearly said Hikaru Shida there, but Thunder Rosa match was still fun. Every match was fun. The only thing I thought was like, okay, this is just was the TNT title match. Like, I have not enjoyed that storyline at all. Do you know what I mean?
To be honest, mate, there wasn't really any storyline going into it, was there? As I said to you before, they did one week of build on Rampage, and that was it.
But the counter argument I'll give you to that is 1 week builds can still work, because I really enjoyed Darby and Kylo Reilly.
Yeah, that's a fair point, actually.
Yeah. So, what was your initial thoughts, my guy?
So I thought the first double of pay-per-view was pretty crap, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. Apart from the opener.
Yeah.
But once we got to Kylo Reilly and Darby Allin, from that point onwards, the rest.
Did you not enjoy the women's match then?
No, that was after the Kylo Reilly. That was after the Kylo Reilly.
Was it? Ignore me then, man. Like, it's all jumbled up because it's taken me 2 days to watch it, where it's so long. And also, AEW 4-hour pay-per-views, not necessary.
I don't know what we watch any of the media comes, but Tony Khan did say he did say it was a bit long, so I don't think they'll be doing that again.
I haven't seen any of the media scrums because I knew we were going to do this. I've been trying to get the pay-per-view done, so I haven't had time. I will go and check some out, though.
Yeah, so can we move on to the car?
Yeah, man. What were some of your highlights then, before we do?
So I really enjoyed the Warlow and MJF stuff. I really enjoyed, as I said to Kylo, Reilly and Darby Allen. I loved the Anarchy and the asylum match, whatever they called it.
The Anarchy in the Arena match.
Yeah. I absolutely adored the women's title match. It was probably my favourite match of the night.
I would probably agree with that from a technical wrestling perspective, but from this is just a batshit crazy match and just a pure smile on my face match. I loved Anarchy in the Arena.
Yeah, and the match, and as we will get to the main event for me, it was still I still enjoyed it, but it wasn't as good as I thought it was gonna be.
No, but I reckon their rematch will be even better because we'll have an even better story.
Yeah. So on the buy-in, Hook Harrison beat Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling in 5 minutes and 20 seconds. So how did you feel like this?
This is the sort of match where there's an English phrase calls it does what it says on the tin and what it should have done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I loved, for starters, props to Smart Mark Sterling. I know he's a wrestler by trade, but I loved him coming out in Tony Nese gear. I thought that was very creative and very entertaining. Do you know what I mean?
So yeah, somebody said, I can't remember who said it, but somebody said it reminded them of Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah, I can't comment on that because I haven't seen Mania, my friend.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, I completely agree with that. It was just a bit of a laugh, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was never, like, as we said in that predictions video, which will never see the light of day. It was a match to get Hookhausen over as a team. There was no doubt in my mind, at least, that Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling were ever going to win.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, great way to start off the night. And then we had the main card. We started off with MJF versus Warlow. So what did you think about the match as a whole?
So before we get into that, can we talk about obviously the drama from the weekend?
You can if you want to, but I don't really have a lot to say on it.
Well, all I'm going to say is if he's leaving, AEW wrote him off in a great way.
Yeah.
And if he is, he's put Wardlow over like a beast. And if he's not, I think they also made it so like what's the word I'm looking for? So like MJF has to basically rebuild now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he got obliterated. Sorry.
So basically what you're saying is if he does come back, they've left the door open for a compelling story if he does come back.
Yeah.
All I was saying the whole subject is when it first started, it was obvious. I personally think that what am I trying to say? I personally think that obviously it's a full-on shoot. But I personally think it becomes that. They're obviously going to turn it into a storyline if he does come back.
Yeah, so it's so hard because part of me is like, if he really wanted to go, wouldn't lawyers have been involved by now? Do you know what I mean?
But if you're under contract till 2024, you can't really do anything legally because he's already signed the contract.
Yeah. So just not to dwell on that, but like, I don't know, part of my brain, this is my Dean Ambrose leaving WWE is a work moment. Do you know what I mean?
And I just want to say, I don't think AEW would set him up set him up for a fan fest, knowing that he was not going to turn up. So I just think anybody that says this whole thing is a work, I just think they're looking too much into it, to be honest.
Maybe, but I don't know. But like, we could debate that for hours. So shall we move on?
Yeah, moving on to the actual match itself, it was exactly what I wanted it to be. Obviously,
Yeah,
there was a dark cloud for obvious reasons, as we just spoken about. But as a match, it was perfect.
yeah. And I think that was highlighted perfectly by the crowd chanting, "You showed up. You showed up."
Yeah, and
Or was it he showed up? Whatever it was.
and I like when he came out. When he came out, he did the airplane motion.
Oh yeah, I didn't even see that till I rewatched it this morning. But yeah, that's perfect.
And this is the last thing I want to say on it. Yeah, even when he was coming out, it didn't seem like he had the same energy as he's had in the past. If you know what I mean.
Say that again, man.
Like in the past, even when he's been a heel, he has like really good energy, and I felt you could tell he had no energy. Like he did not want to be there.
But again, this is my putting my tinfoil hat on. Is he just working us all? Do you know what I mean?
I think you're just looking too deeply into it, to be honest, mate. But have a good time.
Fair enough. Like, if it turns out that I'm wrong, like tomorrow, like I'll perfectly say, "Oh, I'm wrong." Do you know what I mean?
I can't wait to see people if they do come to terms and they turn it into a storyline. I can't wait to see people say it with a storyline the whole time.
Fair enough. Like, it's not something that I can comment on because I'm still in the camp of it was a work. But going back to this match, yeah, perfect. The whole MJF trying to sneak away to Wardlow finally getting his hands on him, and literally all he did was powerbomb him.
I never really noticed, but by the second one, he was taking it on his elbows. That will kill you back. Taking
Yeah.
Power bombs. So by the second one, you could tell he was taking it on his elbows.
Which I'm not a wrestler, so I'm just going to say fair enough on that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. But when he was leaving, obviously, they took you out of the stretcher. They put the oxygen back on his eyes.
I did see that. I thought that was brilliant.
And that was funny. But have you got anything going to say at this right time?
From a not from a wrestling perspective, but from a story perspective, and from a what's the word I'm looking for, Anthony? You know what I'm trying to say. You're good with words.
Like from the behind the scenes perspective, like what?
No. Like from a where do we go now that Wardlow the chains are off sort of thing.
Yeah.
From that sort of perspective, I'm really excited to see what Wardlow does. And one thing we did miss out was I loved that whole Wardlow is all elite thing afterwards.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think his theme song will be? Do you think it will be War Pigs, as some people are speculating?
I think so, but I'd be happy with two other things, to be honest, my friend. Either he keeps this whole aesthetic because I just think it looks cool and it's quite badass, or he brings back his original, because I like his "This Is War" theme.
To be honest, I would rather you not have a theme song than go back to his old one. I was not a fan of it, to be honest.
Fair enough. What about cuffs? How do you feel about
that? I think it was cool for this storyline, but I think doing that every single week it would start to get a bit like, okay, this is a bit overboard, at least for me anyway, after a while.
I do see what you're saying, but I think it's the sort of thing that if you do one thing, you got to do the other as well. The no music and doesn't work without cuffs and vice versa.
Like,
in my personal opinion.
Like, I couldn't understand. I wouldn't mind them doing cuffs if we were like unhinged lunatic, you know what I mean? Like, if he was unable to be controlled, but the Warlow character is normally quite controlled as a personality.
Yeah, so again, I'd be happy with either option, to be honest, my friend.
Yeah, so could we move on?
Yeah.
So next up we had the Hardys versus the Butts. I'm gonna be honest, I thought this match was absolutely shit in the first half, but in the last 5 minutes, it definitely kicked it off.
I agree with you, but after reading the reports that have come out today, I don't know if you've seen them.
Yeah, like Jeff maybe being injured or something.
Yeah, he worked that match with a broken foot, according to Fightful and the Cultaholic crew.
Well, speedy recovery team, but even when Matt was in the ring, I just did not enjoy it. I just think it went a bit too long.
Yeah, I will definitely agree with that. Because we knew Jeff was injured or something was wrong. We knew that at the time. It was definitely a case of, okay, what are you going to do? Because you're very restricted. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and to be honest with you, the Hardys are not as agile as they used to be, even when they are 100%. So I mean,
no,
having a broken foot turning them to make that worse.
Yeah, very true. I think parts of this match were fun, but yeah, it was a bit of a letdown in places.
Are you sure he got a broken foot? Because I haven't heard that. I've heard that I've obviously heard that he was taken out of the Dynamite match on Wednesday, but I didn't hear about his broken foot. So are you sure that?
Cultaholic reported it per Fightful, and so did someone called Pro Wrestling Unlimited per Fightful.
I must not have seen that one. The last thing I heard, Jeff, which was not on the card, I thought it was just because his body must have needed a break. That's what I heard.
Yeah, but I think it's 6 to 1, half a dozen of the other. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Either way, speedy recovery to Jeff.
Definitely.
But in terms of this match, it just did not work for me. As I told you before when we spoke, I like this match 5 years ago when it was in Ring of Honor, but in 2022, I don't really want to see it, to be honest.
Yeah, and now that I have, because since we did speak, I've been able to watch their Ring of Honor match per someone letting me borrow their on a club account.
Yeah.
And I do fully agree with you. Like, as fun as it is to see it on a big stage, it sort of went down a bit like a lead balloon.
Like according to Wikipedia, it went for 19 minutes and 15 seconds. You know, if they would have cut it down to like 10 minutes, I think it would have been a lot better.
I agree. But I think this is the problem because there was a basketball game, wasn't there, at the time of this pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So Tony Khan was trying to drag the pay-per-view out as much as possible so that obviously the main event wasn't interrupted by that game. I don't know if it was, by the way, do you?
No, I don't really care, to be honest, so I didn't look it up.
Fair enough. But yeah, I think definitely if they'd shaved a few minutes off this match, even cut it down to 15 minutes, I would have been happy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, can we move on?
Yeah.
And then we had Jay Cargill defending the TBS Championship versus Anna Jay. Excuse me. I enjoyed their playing that more. This felt really awkward. It felt really awkward in places for me.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. I have had chance to watch their Rampage match again since we spoke, and there was definitely like moments of someone either forgetting spots or what's the word I'm looking for, mate? Someone forgetting spots or miscommunication. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And when I was watching the match, I felt like they had way too much planned, and they were overthinking about it too much.
Yeah, totally, my friend.
Like in their Rampage match, everything felt precise, and they knew what they were doing. And in this one, it felt like they were really confused. Like, I don't say this is lightweight, it felt like they were overthinking about it. They were overthinking about it too much.
Yeah, so basically, like almost like they had too much stuff to remember, maybe.
Yeah. So, and then obviously towards the end of the match, we had the debut of Stokely Holloway.
Halfway.
Okay. So, what did you think about seeing Stokely for the first time?
I don't know enough about him to comment because he was in WWE before this, correct? Right?
Yeah, as Malcolm Bivens.
Yeah, and like I haven't watched WWE in quite some time, so it's not something that I can. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I enjoy seeing Athena though. Like, I will say that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm excited to see what she can do in AEW because I loved her NXT run.
Yeah. I enjoyed her first NXT run, not really a second one.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I enjoyed her first one, not her second one.
So I just want to go back to Stokely for a minute. I think he could bring a new dynamic to the Jade character, to be honest. I like Smart Mark Sterling, but I think Stokely can bring a whole new dimension to Jade. But at the same time, I would say Jade is at the point where she doesn't really need somebody to score for her.
Yeah, but I would say she works best as almost like the CM Punk Paul Heyman relationship. I don't think I can't see her cutting a good promo on her own, but having someone to bounce off of probably helps her a lot, especially because she's still so young. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand. I understand that. The one thing I would say, I enjoyed seeing Athena and I enjoyed seeing Stokely, but I do think there was a bit too much going on at once. Because first of all, you had Chris Statlander coming out, and then you had Athena, and then before that you had Stokely making his debut, and it was like, hold on, way too much.
Yeah, I agree. But again, I think this was the entire issue with Double or Nothing. Because they didn't know how long this basketball game was going to go. They were trying to just fill time, like dead air. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand that, but as a normal viewer, I just felt it was like a bit overboard for me. Like it would have been better if they would have just had Stokely debut, and then they could have done a feeder on Dynamite.
I agree. Or the other way around. Either one would have worked.
Yeah, either way. So do you want to say anything else, or do you want to move on?
I don't know. Like as we both said, this wasn't one of the best matches of the night. So there's not really much to say, is there?
But I do want to say I don't think it was a bad match by any means.
No.
It was
No.
just
This is just one. No, carry on, man.
it was just not as solid as a trade match. I think that's fair.
I agree.
I think that's fair to say. So moving on. So and then we had the Out of Black versus Death Triangle.
I thought this was tons of fun. I'm not gonna lie.
To be honest, because of the two matches previously, by this match, yeah, I was sort of like out of the pay per view. But when I went back and we watched it the next day, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and this was a match that, talking about when we did our predictions, neither of us were very hyped for, were we?
No, I would say I was even dreading the match. To be honest.
Yeah. And obviously, should we just skip to the finish, because we don't really need to go beat by beat, do we?
No, we're definitely not going to do that, because I can't even remember half of the spots.
Nah, neither can I. But I like this whole Julia Hart thing, like where we had it a couple of weeks ago on Dynamite, where we thought that she was staying good, and then now she seems to have turned to the dark side, which I do enjoy.
I mean, I like it as well, but it only took about 18 years.
Yeah, I do see what you're saying, but obviously we've had Pac with travel issues because of COVID. We've had, was it Penta's arm that got broken?
It was Phoenix.
Oh, sorry. Anyway, Phoenix's arm that got broken. So I can sympathize, but I can also see what you're saying. Does that make sense?
I understand what you were saying, but you did not need to wait in order to do the Julia heel turn, did you?
No, but maybe they were waiting to finish off this feud to basically bring her in, and then now we're going to get the next feud. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Maybe you're right, but I just think they're going to done it way sooner than what they did with Julia. So there you go. But at least,
yeah, I do see what you're saying.
At least she's in the group now, so they can finally move on to something else. Hopefully.
Yeah, I agree.
I do want to give a special shout out to Buddy Matthews. I thought he was really good in this match, especially. I mean, everybody was good, but he was especially good. I thought.
I agree. Like what's it called? I want to see him in a one-on-one match now. Like we've seen him in a tag team. Let's put him in a one-on-one match, please. Do you agree?
I mean, I would love to see him face each member of Death Triangle in singles, to be honest. But they've done this feud for way too long now. I just want them to move on. Period.
I agree.
So moving on, unless you've got something else to add?
No, let's move on, man.
So then we have the final of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. Adam McCall, baby, versus Samoa Joe. Honestly,
Sorry, headphone users.
apologies to anybody wearing headphones.
Yeah, but it's so hard because obviously we know Samoa Joe is in the twilight of his career now. You know what I mean when I say that.
Yeah.
So it's the sort of match where it was like, this would have been a great Dynamite match, but it was sort of like, you expect more on pay-per-view. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. This was a match that I just thought it was the standard Adam Cole match.
Yeah, and it was very sort of, this could have been put on Dynamite, which a few of the matches on this card could have been, which I'm sure we'll get to.
Yeah. Like if you enjoy Adam Cole matches, then you're probably going to enjoy this. If you don't really enjoy Adam Cole matches, like I tend not to do, they just don't really feel anything for me. And this was one of the matches, and I love Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe's one of my guys, but this match did not work for me.
I mean, I enjoyed it, but it was definitely a case of, this would have been a great, do you agree with what I'm saying? This would have been a great TV match, but on pay-per-view, it was a bit flat.
Yeah, Dynamite main event, it would have been good. All round Rampage, it would have been really good. But on pay-per-view, I want to see a bit more.
I agree.
And when it comes to the Bobby Fish interference, I don't think that was needed, to be honest.
No, I agree. I would have rather have seen, just to further Joe's story, I would have rather have seen Jay Lethal and the two that are with him, which I can't remember their names now.
Sanjay Dutt and the big guy.
Yeah, I'd have rather have seen them interfere, because at least that furthers Joe's story. Do you know what I mean?
No, thank you, not for me.
Fair enough.
Because Samoa Joe lost plenty of times throughout his career. So would it really matter if Adam Cole beat him clean? No,
but my argument is, wrestling is storytelling, and at least then you furthered two stories instead of just the one.
I understand what you're saying. I would be happy if they never mentioned the Samoa Joe, Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt storyline ever again, to be honest.
I mean, I just want them to get to the match now, because I know the match is going to be fire. Do you know what I mean?
I personally think we got a long time to wait, to be honest. I don't think it will come to a conclusion before Ring of Honor comes back. Actually comes back like a proper, either a proper network or like a proper streaming deal.
In that case, they should have just left it alone until we get closer, in my opinion.
Yeah, that probably should have done, but you know what kind it's like. I just want to see Samoa Joe versus Punk in a one-off Dynamite match. I mean, we don't know how long we got of Samoa Joe, and I don't want him to be wasting his last couple of years on Sanjay Dutt and the boys.
I agree. I think I would just like, but again, I do appreciate that obviously they're trying to get young talent over. Do you know what I mean?
Who you're referring to when they say young talent? You mean the big guy?
Yes, which I can't remember his name right now.
Honestly, I can't remember it. I don't think, you know, for what we've seen of him, I really don't think he's going to be that amazing in the ring. I understand the spectacle, isn't it?
Yeah, totally, man.
So moving on, unless You want to add something else?
Nah, not really.
So then we have the much controversial final of the women's showing, Britt Baker versus Ruby Soho.
Take the winner out of it. I really enjoyed this match.
Are we gonna say it was definitely better than the previous match they had when Ruby first came in, and according to reports, that's Harwood was the one that produced it.
Yeah, I saw that. And get him producing more matches, please. That was fun.
It was definitely a lot better than the previous one. But I can't lie, from a story perspective, the maid Ruby look right loser.
Yeah, as I say, take the winner out of it. I enjoyed this match. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, cool. But because they spent all the build up with Ruby saying, I need to win this. I have to win this. And then she loses. And it's not like she lost by underhanding means.
No, I totally agree with you, man.
I personally think Ruby will be turning heel eventually. Like the only thing that you can do with that, because she feels like a right loser.
Yeah, I think, again, I'm going to keep repeating myself, but take the winner out of it. I enjoyed the match. Like, Britt Baker didn't need the win. I think Ruby needed it more.
And I'm going to be honest, I don't think the match was great, but I don't think it was terrible. It was a fine, serviceable match.
I agree.
Now, after the match, do you think, for the people that didn't, hang on, start again. After the match, they shook hands. Do you think they might be doing a bit face turn, or do you think that was just them breaking kayfabe?
I think that was because of what it was for and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so basically that was just the actual people shaking hands rather than the characters, if you know.
Yeah, and also the fact that it was to honor someone like Owen Hart and stuff like that, if that makes sense.
Obviously, after the match, they had that whole celebration that Martha came out and she did a really good speech, in my opinion.
Yeah, again, like you've got to feel for what she's been through and stuff like that. And I do totally respect her. Like, by the way, if you haven't seen her on Dark Side of the Ring, make sure you check that out because that is an emotional watch.
Yeah.
But I went off on a tangent now. I do apologize, man.
Don't worry about it, mate. It's all content, isn't it?
Exactly. So yeah, and what do you reckon? Do you think this was a one and done? Do you think this will be an annual? What do you reckon?
I hope it's annual, but next year I want it to be presented a lot more. I want it to have a more grand presentation.
In what sense, my guy?
Like I want more top guys, like your Moxley, like your Danielsons, like your Punks, or something like that. Or I want it to be a Young Lions tournament.
Yeah, you don't want a mixture of the both, really.
Yeah, as I've said to you before, I just think it's been a bit, obviously it's been a good tournament. Don't get me wrong, but I just want it to feel a bit more grand than what it is.
Yeah, and I think for a first year one, this was great. Like, let's remember, mate, the first King of the Ring, the first Royal Rumble weren't classics, were they?
No, they definitely won and didn't. You know, the first Royal Rumble, it was won by Big John Studd. Can you imagine a character like Big John Studd winning the Royal Rumble nowadays?
Exactly. So, like, next year, maybe they'll have it more thought out. Maybe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And going back to Brit very quickly, if they're not careful, they do have a Charlotte Flair on the hands when
she is venturing. Nothing against Britt Baker the person. Like, I love her as a wrestler, but they are venturing towards, okay, Britt's in this match. There's an easy. Do you know what I mean?
LOL, Britt wins.
Yeah, LOL, Britt wins. That sort of thing. But again, don't take that as me diminishing her skills as a wrestler, because I really enjoy her match.
But I would love to see her as a baby maker, that as a heel, and matches don't really work for me a lot of the time. Like, I don't mean that to be a deep, you know what I mean?
No, I agree with you. And I think that is a lot of, now that we're past this pay-per-view, which is something we discussed in our predictions, I think AEW's booking will change. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I expect to see a lot more women matches on Dynamite over the next couple of weeks, because they're not going to be on Forbidden Door. So I think that'll be sort of like a make good, if you know what I mean.
Personally, and this is just me, I saw this on Facebook or Twitter. I can't remember which one, but I want to see a women's only Dynamite.
I would love that, but I just don't think Tony would do it. I personally don't think Tony sees the value in the women like a lot of people do, unfortunately.
That's not something I'm comfortable commenting on, but again, that's just something I would like to see.
I understand, but I'm not gonna lie. So there you go.
Fair enough, mate.
So moving on, we have American Top Team versus Kazarian, Sammy Guevara, and Trey Conti.
Can we just get this one over with? Because this was my weakest point of the night, personally.
I hated it. Basically, American Top Team got the win. Paige Van Zandt made her debut, and she was what you would expect for somebody that's only been training for 3 weeks.
Exactly.
So,
and who do you root for in this match? This is my thing. Like, Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti are the lovey-dovey couple that everyone's like, okay, we get the point. Do you know what I mean? And American Top Team with Dan Lambert are just dicks anyway. So who do you root for?
I was rooting for. I'm gonna be honest. I was rooting for Kazarian, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. I suppose there's one person, but yeah, as I say, mate, this would be, if we were doing star ratings, this would be like my weakest point of the night.
So there we go. So, but luckily on Dynamite, I think it's gonna be on Dynamite anyway. We're gonna see Scorpio Sky versus Dante Martin. So that should be
good. That sounds fun.
And I don't really care what they're doing, Sammy and Ty at this point.
Me neither. I'm just glad that stipulation's in that they can't have a rematch. Do you know what I mean?
I hope they don't try and go back on that, by the way.
No, neither do I. Personally, who do you want to see take the TNT title off Scorpio? Because I've got a.
I forgot. Sorry, I don't mean to go. You can go on.
I've got someone that I would like to see take it off of them.
Yeah, say it then, mate.
Wardlow.
Yeah, good choice. That was actually one of my picks. But I was also thinking maybe a even Page could be a Skybreaker, and you could finally turn Scorpio babyface.
True. I think both of them outcomes would be fun, to be honest, man.
And I want them both to get rid of Dan Lambert because they don't need him. And to be honest, I just think he brings them both down as performers.
Yeah, for me, Dan Lambert has go away heat.
Yeah. Moving on. So then we had Kylo Reilly versus Darby Allin. This is where the pay-per-view really picked up for me.
Yeah, I agree. As I say, Scorpio Sky and that feud. Take notes. This is how you do a 1 week build.
Yeah,
Do you agree?
Exactly. I mean,
Again, and I like the fact that Kyle O'Reilly won. I'm not gonna lie.
To be honest, I do think Darby loses a bit too much, but I do think it was the right decision for Kyle O'Reilly to beat Darby here.
Yeah, I agree. And there's not much I can say about this match other than go watch it because it was a load of fun.
Didn't Darby nearly kill himself on the drive more than he normally does?
Yeah, that looked like it went very wrong.
I liked it when they did it on the other side, and then Kyle caught him in a rear-naked choke.
Oh yeah, and I liked for once the ref enforcing the rules being like, you can't win on the outside.
That's very weird. The referees enforcing the rules.
I know.
I want to go back 1 minute. Speaking of the referees, in the final of the males Owen Hart tournament, they had Mike Chioda.
Yeah, that was cool.
And I wonder why they decided to get Mike in because they had him on before, and he wanted to change all the rules, didn't he?
Yeah, this is something me and Cass discussed, and we were like, "Yeah, no, we don't want." And Tony Khan was like, "Yeah, no, we're not doing that. Goodbye."
So I wonder why they decided to bring him in for a spot on this pay-per-view.
I don't know, man, but I thought it was fun.
Anyway, going back to the Darby and Kyle match. Where do you think Darby and Kyle go from here? Yeah.
Well, we've got Darby Allin. I'm not 100% sure, but I know we've got the basically elite, undisputed elite versus the thing that's now been turned into an 8-man tag, and that's the Bucks, Kyle, and Bobby Fish. I hope that they lose and that sort of starts to further their feud. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I just remembered that Kyle O'Reilly was the one that took out Sting in kayfabe, so maybe Sting will come back and face Kyle, or they do Sting and Darby versus Red Dragon.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, I'll be well up for that as a good TV main event.
Yeah, but my one condition with that is Sting doesn't pin Red Dragon or make them submit. If Darby does, I'm fine with that. But I'm just a bit like, don't bury the young talent, Sting. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think you're gonna be disappointed, to be honest, mate. Because I think if they do that match, I think that's what will happen. Sting will get the win, and then that'll be the end of it. Unfortunately, I agree with you, but I'm just
I know.
And by the way, I'm sorry to keep going back to the own, but I just keep thinking of things. Did you think it was a bit obvious when both Adam and Britt came out Wayne Pink.
I don't think I had long said that once they lost their titles or their title opportunity, this was almost their make good. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that wasn't an obvious thing to me because I predicted it ages ago. So do you know what I mean?
Yeah. As soon as I saw Chris with Wayne Pink, I said to myself, "Oh, she's winning." So that really softened the blow for me when she actually did win.
Yeah. Again, I enjoyed that match. Take out the winner. I think I'd have swapped the winners. I'd have enjoyed it more.
And did you enjoy the entrances? I don't know whether you can remember, but they both had people playing like Fling. Ruby had that band that did a thing.
Rancid.
Yeah, Rancid. Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but again, if you're gonna, it's a hard thing of like, if you're gonna get the band that does her theme, let her win.
Yeah, it's a bit like it's a bit like you build her up just to have a lose.
Exactly.
It felt very WWE to me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that was probably the most WWE thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, moving on further down the card, then we had next up we had Thunder Rosa versus Serenity for the AEW Women's Championship. Blooming awesome match. Honestly,
Yeah.
this match was exactly what I wanted. And
This was something that me and you said, right? We knew that even though they hadn't had a lot of build, we were both like, yep, this is, do you know what I mean? This is going to be fun. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And it was just as I said, it was exactly what I wanted. Two great wrestlers own the match, and the crowd was there for it. The one thing I will say, the ending sequence was a bit weird for me, but I still really enjoyed the match. I don't like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, have you got anything else to add, or do we just move on?
Do it again. That's literally all I have to say. Is I'd be perfectly happy if they find a reason to justify a rematch.
I don't want to see a rematch straight away, though. I mean, obviously, you can come back to it.
At some point, I'd like to see Serena bring back her 5-minute challenge thing to build up a rematch.
I hate it. Honestly, I hated that. It was just so boring.
Oh, I loved it. But that's just my personal opinion.
Of course, moving on. We had the Anik. I can remember.
Shall I help ya?
Yeah,
Anarchy in the Arena, which was the Blackpool Combat Club? No, Combat Club.
Yeah.
The Blackpool Combat Club, which is Moxley and Danielson and Eddie Kingston and Santana and Ortiz versus the Jericho Appreciation Society, which is Chris Jericho, Jake Hager, formerly 2.0, and Daniel Garcia.
Yeah, you're right.
Again, this was my favorite match from a complete sort of like, this is stupid, but this is why I love wrestling. Do you know what I mean?
It was awesome. It was just absolute everywhere, wasn't it? And
and the thing that I love, and I'll say this just while I remember, if that's okay, man.
Yeah, go on.
Was Moxley's theme kept playing, so it had a very sort of bar fight theme. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know you said you don't. I know you said you didn't want the crumbs, but when Chris Jericho did his scrum, you mentioned that they did that to pay tribute to to New Jack.
Oh, yeah, that's true, actually, because that was a New Jack thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, so that was quite cool. And they picked the right song. They picked the right song to do it with, and it
Yeah.
was just.
As I say, sorry, man, but like this was my favorite match of the night. It was so stupid, but it reminded me why I love wrestling.
And it was just a blooming mess, but I loved it. And I mean that in a good way. Like it was just everywhere. It was all over the arena. They went in the stands. It was everywhere.
Exactly. So, is this a match that if you haven't checked it out, the good people should go check it out, right?
I would say if you don't normally like wrestling, this is a sort of match anybody could watch.
Yeah, I agree because, and I might get you some guff in the comments. I do apologize, mate. I didn't like Stadium Stampedes.
Yeah, I agree. I personally agree with you, to be honest. At times they were a bit goofy, wasn't they?
They were a bit too goofy. Whereas this had the right amount of this is fun, plus this is still great wrestling. I can't say enough good things about this match.
What did you think that Eddie with the gasoline and the way he came out with it?
I liked it, but I also liked Danielson being almost the voice of reason. And I would like to see, I know Santana and Ortiz are with Eddie Kingston.
Sorry man. I don't mean to cut you off, but do you mean Moxley? Because Danielson was not the voice of reason, even Moxley.
Sorry, what I mean is I like that whole Danielson and Kingston still fighting because they still hate each other, and Moxley being the voice of reason. But what I was gonna say is I would love to see now, because I know we talk about a bit what we want to see now, right?
Yeah, go on.
Let Santana and Ortiz go off on their own, build up to win the tag titles, etc. Put Eddie in the Blackpool Combat Club, and help him harness that anger sort of thing. Just because I want to see promos with him and William Regal, but that's just me.
I would like to see that, but I think they're gonna do blood and guts between these teams first.
Yeah, but after this feud is over, I
mean. Okay. I mean, I don't really know, to be honest. I can't imagine what that would look like, to be honest. Because when you pick out the Blackpool Combat Club, Eddie's not the sort of character that I could see in there. So
I could, because he's such a fighter. Look, he's very similar to Moxley, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're right in that sense, but I just can't visualize it at the moment.
I couldn't visualize Danielson and Moxley together originally, but now I absolutely love them.
Yeah, so maybe if they do that, then I would love it, but I can't visualize it at the moment. As I say.
Fair enough, my friend.
So moving on, we have the AEW tag team titles triple threat. The Jurassic Express versus Team Taz versus Swerving the Glory. What a stupid name, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Like now that we've done this match, let them go their separate ways because they're too good. They're too good as singles wrestlers to be in a tag team, in my personal opinion.
I would agree with you, but only if you've got stuff planned for them. Don't just separate them just to separate them. Only separate them if you've got stuff planned for them.
True, very true. But again, it doesn't have to be like a blood feud, them splitting up. It just has to be sort of okay, you go do your thing, I go and do my thing, and they just build up
I-
some wins.
I know what you're saying, but I would rather see Swerve as a heel because I've only seen him as a heel a couple of times, and honestly, he's a million times better as a heel than he is as a face, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
Or maybe you could do Keith as a heel. But
I think Keith's promos work too babyface, in my opinion.
Yeah. Did you see the bit in the match where Keith said, "Oh my god," you know?
Yeah, I did, man. I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Props to AEW, by the way, because I enjoyed the fact that wrestlers got to be goofy and have a lot of comedy in their matches.
And it doesn't have to be forced comedy either. It can just be actually funny stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
Ricky Starks was unbelievable. In this match. He was way amazing.
I'd like to see him in. I agree, and I would like to now see him in the TNT title picture.
Yes, please.
Again, like that man deserves it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just think again, and mainly because hopefully Taz will be able to shut Dan Lambert up as well.
Yeah. Now let's move on to the boring line. Jurassic Express wouldn't retain the belts. I don't know why. They're probably my least favorite champions in AEW right now, to be honest.
Unfortunately, I would agree with you. They've got what I call Ciampa and Gargano, Alistair Black syndrome, because this is something that I was telling you about during that predictions video, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where they're unfortunate to be the champions at a time where the division has a big feud going on, which is like, for example, eventually the Red Dragon versus the Bucks, which is going to overshadow them as champions, which is what happened with Alistair Black and Johnny in the Johnny Gargano feud in NXT.
Yeah.
So my feeling is, I agree with you. They should have lost the belts, and we should have got the next beat in that story of Christian either turning on them or them turning on Christian. Like, now I'm a bit like, where do we go? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like...
Sorry, I rambled for a bit there, by the way.
No worries. It's all good stuff anyway. So yeah, I completely agree with you there. Like, why not have Team Taz win? They could pin Jungle Boy. Christian could have been upset with Jungle Boy. He could have turned on him, and then he would have been off to the races. But no, they had them retained. And I had
again, we could be completely wrong, and I will happily be wrong, won't you? Like,
yeah, of course, but I had something that I can't remember who said it, but I heard somebody said that I thought the Bucks are gonna beat the Lucha Brothers. No, sorry, Jurassic Express in the local area. Not really. Not really.
I know what you mean. Maybe, but I would love to see. Have FTR still got all their belts?
Yeah, I haven't dropped any of them, I don't think.
I'd love to see them complete the belt collector storyline that Kenny never really did.
I mean, I agree with you, but why not give it to Team Taz? Because they're technically FTR baby faces like that.
That's what I'm saying. You give it to Team Taz, and I don't want to make them transitional champions, but do you know what I mean?
I mean, I would much rather see Team Taz have a couple of months as champions, maybe do All Out, and then you can do the title switch there.
I agree.
It was just really deflated. It was really deflating when they won. It was like, okay, they're quite crap.
I wouldn't say they're crap, but I am just definitely sort of like, where's the next beat in this story? We needed it here on a big pay-per-view. I think that was my one criticism. Normally on an AEW pay-per-view, you get the big story beats, which the only one I can really think of is like the Julia Hart thing. And obviously Punk winning the belt, which we'll get to in a sec.
You're not nicer than me. I just think they're crap in this role.
Okay, so how in your eyes do you make them not so crap?
First of all, you give them a one-on-one feud and make them the focal point of the feud rather than them being the third wheel of their title matches. And
yeah, but that's in that thing, man. That's not them being crap. Then that's just crap booking.
I understand what you mean, but I just think as a tag team, they don't really work as a tag team, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and again, I just think you need to get the belts off them to progress stories.
Like apart from their finisher, what move do they actually do together? It's like two single wrestlers wrestling in the same match, but they don't really work together. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I agree with you completely on that one, man.
Like, can you name any other move they do together apart from their finish?
Nope.
So yeah, maybe that's me being unfair because I can't think of any tag team move, team clash dudes. So maybe that's me being biased. But I really don't like it. But maybe it's because I just don't like the whole dinosaur thing. I just think
I don't mind it. I just feel like they need to lean into it a bit more. Have some vignettes of him in the prehistoric world, maybe.
Go amazing what you're saying. Go fully goofy with it if you're gonna go there.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, you've got to be fully goofy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm probably being really unfair, but that's how I feel. I know it sounds stupid, and I will admit it is stupid, but you know what I mean. There's some characters that you just don't like, and they're one of them.
Yeah, like just to throw my one out there, my one's Brian Cage. I just don't get it. Like,
yeah, exactly. I agree with you there, by the way.
yeah. Anyway, should we move on to the main event and then get out of here?
Yeah. Apologies. Moving on to the main event. CM Punk versus Hangman Adam Page for the AEW World Championship.
I'm gonna be honest, man, because we obviously had to put this back an hour of recording. I skimmed through this match and I need to rewatch it again. But what I did see, I really enjoyed.
What a bit it for me, yeah, because it was a long show, even in 2 sittings. But by the time I got to the main event, I just mentally had enough, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, totally. And I think that will be a match that like you'll pick up on a lot of the nuances if you rewatch it because there's a lot in there.
I would completely agree because I would I know you said you haven't really watched it like broadly, but I would say it probably CM Punk's worst main event match.
No. I do disagree with you on that one.
I mean, obviously, got in that John Dynamite with QT Marshall, but their matches are not main event matches. I mean, as what I was saying was, as the main event match, I think this is his worst main event match.
Again, I think you're just a bit like me, which is a bit sour on this match because it came at the end of a long pay-per-view. I think once we re-watch it, that is very hard to say because it's very late in the day over here in the Great Britannia. But I think once we re-watch it, it'll be a match we have a bit more of an appreciation for. That's just my opinion.
You're probably right, mate. I'm probably just being a bit sour on it, to be honest.
Is it because Hangman lost as well? Is
No,
that why?
No, I wanted Punk to win the bout. But the ending sequence was just a bit like, okay, I gonna use the bout.
I like that though, because if you watch the whole story of the match, it's Hangman figuring out if he can beat Punk still being a good person. So, and the fact that when he tried to, and the fact that he wasn't a bad person made him lose the belt. So I reckon we'll have a very good story coming from this. Maybe he'll Hangman.
I mean, if you come back to me in a couple of days when I watch the main event again, I probably will agree with you. But this is just me talking as I watched it at the time, and I was just like, okay.
Did it get spoiled for you ahead of time as well?
No, it wasn't spoiled for me. As I said to you before, I was a bit sour. I was a bit sour on the build up.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't the best build, but again, I feel like, and maybe I'm just being a positive Pete today because I'm in a good mood, but I feel like the match made up for the build, and I feel like on a second viewing you will get some more appreciation for it.
And as you say, yeah, he could easily tell the story of Hangman's kindness got the better of him, and he was that cost him the bout. So
I think that's what they were trying to tell, and I think the more you rewatch this match, the more nuances you'll pick up on, and you will see, oh, that's what they were. Do you know what I mean?
Just to be on the curtain back, yeah. I watched this show in two. As I said, I watched it in 2 sittings.
I watched this in free. I watched this show in free because it was too long.
And even in 2 sittings, it was way too long for me. So, as I said, I'm probably being overly sour on it.
Maybe, but again, you're fully entitled to your opinion, my friend.
So where would you rank this on the AEW pay-per-view scale for what they've done so far this year?
This year.
Let's include 2020 in that. I would say it had to be right at the bottom because I think actually, you know what I would say it is right at the bottom for me.
For me, I'd put this somewhere in the middle because I really didn't like All Out 2020, but I know you have to grade pay-per-views on a curve, the ones that took place with no fans, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't put it on top tier like where I would put Revolution 2020, Full Gear 2019, Revolution this year, and things like that. But it's definitely not like a don't go and watch this pay-per-view. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would definitely agree. If you've got 8 hours to spare, I would definitely check it out.
But again, I suppose, and I'm sounding like an AEW shill here, but like the beauty of long pay-per-views is there's a lot of matches that like, okay, I don't like this one. I'm gonna skip it. Oh, I like this one. Let's check. Do you know what I mean?
I get what you mean, but unless you remember the timestamp, it's a bit difficult to do that.
No. Yeah, I suppose you're right. But I'm just in a positive mood today, my friend, and I'm trying to help you see the positive side.
Mate, I sort of knew you might enjoy this more than I did, but it was still quite interesting to do what you had to say, because obviously you're naturally a more positive person than I am. I'm quite a cynical person.
Again, I'm one of those people when it comes to wrestling, it's only wrestling. Do you know what I mean? Like, if the pay-per-view shit, the sun's still gonna come up tomorrow. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but if I'm gonna be talking about something, I can't pretend like it was great. Like it was great if I did not feel it was great, if you know what I mean. So yeah.
No, and like I think this is the cool thing when we do things like this together. We get two different perspectives, which is why I said to you, let's do a review together.
Yeah, and I think long term, I will appreciate the whole thing of Hangman wrestling with his conscious.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, like a lot of CM Punk matches in AEW, they take multiple viewings because they're like onions. They have a lot of layers.
And this
Sorry,
was
I watched Shrek before I did this. I do apologize.
and this was the first time he was in the main event. Like normally he's in the middle of the card, isn't he? Punk.
Exactly. So again, I think overall I really enjoyed this pay-per-view. It got me hyped for Dynamite just to see what's going to happen. And I've really enjoyed doing this review with you, my friend.
I would definitely either make a video or I would just let you know after I rewatched it whether I still think the same or not.
Yeah, fair enough, man.
It was definitely not a bad match. I'm not saying that. I just wasn't crazy about it like I think you were.
No, I'm not crazy about it. It was just more of it was what I wanted. I'll put it that way. And the fact that I have watched it a couple of times because I've had time on my hands, do you know what I mean? Maybe I see it from a different perspective to you.
And so, as you said, you've just watched the main event. That's why we had to do this an hour later than what we planned. So maybe that's the reason why you enjoy it more than I did.
Yeah.
So anyway, so thank you for coming on, Tom. Do you want to promote your stuff really quickly?
Right. The good people can find me on Twitter at Tom Talks Rubbish. My YouTube channel, Tom Talks Rubbish, where I interview some of the greats in media and just wrestling in general. My show with Cassidy Haynes, bodyslam.net. You can find that on bodyslam.net. The Wrestle Watch podcast on bodyslam.net with Cassidy Haynes. And you can follow that on Twitter at the Wrestle Watch podcast. And as always, mate, thank you for having me on. This has been a ton of fun, and let's do it again soon.
Yeah. And I would really recommend going and watching the Wrestle Tour. No, what is it called? I can't.
The Wrestle Watch pod?
The Wrestle Watch pod is really good. I enjoy a lot of the episodes. It's definitely worth checking out. And if you want to support me, Anthony Talk One on all of my social medias. If you want to go and follow the podcast It's Anthony Podcast on everywhere you get your podcast from, and subscribe to it. Subscribe on YouTube if you're new, and thank you for watching. And we will speak to everybody in a bit.